Hello everybody, and welcome to the show. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's close to my heart: relationships. Whether it's with a spouse, a family member, or even a close friend, we all know how precious these bonds are, and how challenging they can be. But what happens when those relationships hit a rough patch? How do we know when things are going off track? That's what we're going to explore today. We're going to uncover the signs that your relationship might be in trouble. But more importantly, we're going to discover how the teachings of Jesus can provide a roadmap back to love, understanding, and lasting connection. Get ready to be inspired, because when we open our hearts to the power of faith and forgiveness, anything is possible. You know, I've learned over the years, talking to people from all walks of life, that communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. It's the bridge that connects two souls, allowing them to share their joys, their sorrows, their dreams, their fears. But sometimes that bridge starts to crumble. One of the first and most telling signs that a relationship is in distress is a breakdown in communication. Think about it. When you were first falling in love, didn't you talk for hours on end, eager to learn everything about each other? But as time goes by, life gets busy, resentment builds, and we start to retreat into ourselves. We stop sharing our thoughts and feelings. We stop truly listening to what the other person has to say. And slowly, silently, a wall starts to build between us. Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, understood the power of communication. In Matthew 18:15, he tells us, "If your brother sins against you, go and point out their fault just between the two of you." He's not saying it's going to be easy. Confrontation can be scary. But what Jesus is teaching us is the importance of addressing issues directly, with love and compassion, before they fester and grow. So, how do we do that? How do we break down the walls of silence and rebuild those bridges of communication? It starts with active listening. And I don't just mean hearing the words, but truly listening with your heart. Put down your phone, turn off the TV, and give your loved one your undivided attention. Ask open-ended questions. Seek to understand their perspective even if you don't agree with it. And most importantly, respond with empathy and kindness. Remember, communication is not about winning an argument or proving a point. It's about connecting with the heart of the person you love. We've all been there. Those little disagreements that escalate into full-blown arguments, leaving you feeling exhausted and disconnected. It's like a dance you don't want to be doing, but you keep getting pulled back in. Now, I'm not saying that all conflict is bad. Disagreements are a natural part of any relationship. It's how we handle those disagreements that makes all the difference. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is letting their emotions get the best of them. When we're angry or hurt, it's easy to lash out, to say things we don't mean, to let our pride get in the way of reconciliation. But as James 1:19 so wisely reminds us, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Think about it. When you're the one who's upset, don't you just want to be heard? To know that your feelings are valid? That the other person understands where you're coming from? Well, your partner needs that same validation. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a heated argument, take a deep breath. Step back from the situation and try to see things from your loved one's perspective. Ask yourself, what are they feeling? What are they trying to communicate? And when it's your turn to speak, do so with kindness and respect. Use I statements instead of you statements. For example, instead of saying, "You're always late," try saying, "I feel hurt and disrespected when you're late." See the difference? It's about expressing your feelings without attacking the other person. This, my friends, is a tough one, because emotional distance can be so subtle, so insidious. It creeps in slowly, like a thief in the night, robbing your relationship of its joy, its intimacy, its very essence. You might be living under the same roof, sharing meals, even sleeping in the same bed, but emotionally, you're miles apart. One of the key teachings of Jesus is the importance of love. Not just any kind of love, but a love that is selfless, unconditional, and all-encompassing. In John chapter 15 verse 12, he commands us to love one another as I have loved you. Think about that for a moment. Jesus, in his infinite mercy and grace, loved us even when we were at our worst, even when we turned away from him. He loved us unconditionally. So how do we apply this radical love to our own relationships, especially when we're feeling emotionally distant? It starts with small acts of kindness, a simple phone call just to say, "I'm thinking of you," A loving touch, a warm embrace, a listening ear, these small gestures offered without expectation of anything in return can speak volumes. Another powerful way to bridge the gap of emotional disconnection is to engage in activities that you both enjoy. Remember what it was like when you first met? What did you do for fun? What made your heart sing? Find those things again. Maybe it's going for walks in nature, hand in hand, sharing your thoughts and dreams. Maybe it's curling up on the couch with a good book, just enjoying each other's presence. Or maybe it's something more adventurous, like taking a dance class together or planning a weekend getaway. The point is to reconnect, to rediscover the joy of being together, to remind yourselves why you fell in love in the first place. Trust, my friends, is the very foundation upon which all healthy relationships are built. It's the unwavering belief that the other person has our best interests at heart, that they will always be there for us no matter what. But trust, once broken, can be incredibly difficult to rebuild. It's like trying to piece back together a shattered vase. You can glue it back together, but the cracks will always be visible. In Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5-6, we are reminded to trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. This verse speaks to the very core of trust, not just in God, but in our relationships as well. When we trust in God, we surrender our need to control everything. We let go of our fears and doubts, and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. To believe that even when we don't understand, God has a plan. And when we bring that same level of trust to our relationships, something miraculous happens. We create a safe space for honesty, for vulnerability, for true intimacy to flourish. Now, rebuilding trust takes time, patience, and a whole lot of grace. It requires both partners to be fully committed to the process. There can be no more secrets, no more lies, no more betrayals. It's about showing up every single day and proving through your words and your actions that you are worthy of their trust. It's about being present, being accountable, and being transparent. It's about admitting when you've made a mistake and asking for forgiveness. And it's about extending that same forgiveness to your partner when they mess up. You know, everyone deserves to feel appreciated, valued, and cherished, especially by those closest to them. When we feel unappreciated in our relationships, it can be incredibly disheartening. It's like a slow poison that eats away at our sense of self-worth and erodes the very fabric of our connection. Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, understood the importance of feeling valued. In Luke chapter 6 verse 31, he teaches us to do to others as you would have them do to you. This simple yet profound statement, known as the Golden Rule, is a guiding principle for all our relationships. It's about treating others with the same kindness, respect, and appreciation that we ourselves desire. So how do we put this into practice in our own relationships? How do we combat feelings of unappreciation and cultivate a culture of gratitude? It starts with recognizing the good. It's so easy to focus on the negative, to dwell on the things that our partner isn't doing. But what if instead we made a conscious effort to notice and appreciate all the wonderful things they do? The next time your loved one does something thoughtful, no matter how small, acknowledge it. Say thank you. Let them know that you see their efforts and that you appreciate them. And don't just stop at words. Actions speak louder than words. Make them a cup of coffee in the morning. Offer to give them a back rub after a long day. Write them a heartfelt letter expressing your gratitude for all that they are. These small gestures offered with love and sincerity can make all the difference in the world. Well, my friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? But the journey to healthy, thriving relationships doesn't end here. It's an ongoing process, a lifelong adventure that requires us to show up every single day, ready to love, to learn, and to grow. Remember, relationships are a gift, a sacred bond that deserves to be nurtured and cherished. If you're facing challenges in your own relationships, know that you're not alone. We all go through difficult times, but with faith, communication, and a whole lot of love, you can overcome any obstacle and build stronger, more fulfilling relationships than ever before. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, as Jesus taught us, love one another. Keep those words close to your heart and let them guide you in all your relationships. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.